Hello, guys.
Hey, how's it
Hi.
going?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. I'm glad to be talking to you guys.
Good to talk to you too.
We're recording now, so here I have with me is now you guys. I've never heard you guys' names other than well, never heard them. So Markisan Naso and Jason Muhr, is that right?
Oh, it's Markisan, Naso.
Markisan. I was
Yeah,
close. I was
and
close.
Jason Muir.
Jason here.
Muir. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys for correcting me. These
Yeah, no
are the
problem.
creators of. Thank you. These are the creators of Voracious, a very good comic, very just great comic book. If you're listening to this right now, guys, then you obviously have read it, and here we have these two fine gentlemen here.
Hello.
So, guys, first off, really, what's next? We just got done doing a Kickstarter, and that went very well. I've heard. Is that right?
It did. It did. Yeah, we were, 138% funded,
Yeah.
and it took us like a week to get fully funded, and then we went beyond that, got through three stretch goals. So we're very excited. In fact, we were just talking about the Kickstarter and how to fulfill all the rewards right before we came on with you, Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now is
yeah.
when the real work starts.
Yeah, this is everything's kind of like, well, all the partying's done, all like the promotion's done, so now it's like, well, now here comes the fun work, quote unquote.
Yeah, well, we're happy to get people their rewards. We're pretty excited for people to see the new stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for mine. We're like, I got an open space on my wall right now for stuff I'm gonna hang up because I funded you guys. I'm like, it's gonna go right next to the bed.
Well, you'll be getting the digital rewards pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get to read the issue in probably the next week or two.
Okay, okay. Not bad, guys. Congrats, by the way. I don't know if I ever told you this. Congrats. You really outdone your guys yourselves here. How does it feel to be working in the comic book industry? Like, you got your series Voracious out, but now you have Kickstarter, and you actually went above and beyond with fandoms. Did you guys expect this, or did you like say, we'll see how it goes?
I don't think we expected anything regarding the series, you know. But when we first started out, we just both loved comics. We wanted to create something. We worked on something for a while, hoping we'd get out there. So, you know, every step of the way has been rewarding and surprising. You know, the first time first when a publisher says they're going to pick it up, it's exciting and rewarding, and then the first time you see your book in a previews catalog, it feels real, you know, and then the book
Mm-hmm.
comes out and people are really digging it and we're getting great reviews and people like you are sending us great messages and video messages. It's always surprising and rewarding. You know, and then the Kickstarter itself, that was I mean, I guess it's sort of a gamble, you know, we knew we were going to come back for a second series, but we wanted to kind of pre-fund the book because,
Yeah.
being independent creators, you know, we kind of front the costs of the book up front and then kind
Mm-hmm.
of deliver it to the publisher finished. So doing the Kickstarter was really untested waters because, you know, we knew we had a fan base, we knew we had people that liked the book, but now we were going to go online and say, like, basically, how much do you like the book? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
here's what we can offer you. Here's some great stuff we came up with. Do you want this stuff? Do you think it'd be cool? We think it's cool, and we put a lot of work into it, and we think that they're valuable rewards, and the people reacted and they liked it and they funded it. So, you know, it was almost the most direct way to say, like, yes, we like what you're doing.
Yeah, and we're willing to dish out cash for it too. And some of them, I saw they dished out a lot of cash too to be able to get in there. Like one of the rewards, I believe, like you could be in the book itself.
Yeah, I mean, we never expected any of this for people to respond like this. Like Jason said, we just really wanted to do as good a book as we could, and hopefully our moms would read it and say good job. Um, but
Yeah,
and
that's.
we were pretty much convinced we were going to have to self-publish it. We didn't even know that we would get a publisher.
Oh,
Um, so we believe in our book. We think our book is really good, but you never know how people are going to respond,
yeah.
especially to just a weird concept that really hasn't been out there in comic books before. So yeah, so people doing these rewards where they can be in the book A lot of people took that reward. We actually had to put some extra ones out there because we didn't have enough.
Oh,
We didn't expect that.
Yeah, we were really
No.
surprised how quickly the cameos in the book went. You know, that was a thing we came up with that we thought it would be a fun reward. We didn't know if anybody would jump on it, but you know, we thought we needed some higher level rewards, and we thought, you know, people like that sort of stuff. We'll see how much they like it. And those rewards went in, I feel like,
Oh yeah.
to the point where we kind of went back to the drawing board and we said, should we add more cameos to the book? It's such a high demand item, you know?
Yeah, I mean, in Dakota, we had no idea that we would even get funded because Jason and I were really worried about it before we even started the Kickstarter because we didn't know how much we should put the amount at. We didn't know like if people would actually contribute, if we would have to like sink our own money into the campaign.
Yeah, you didn't want to be the greedy ones, being like, well,
No.
let's just put these high prices up.
No, and so we went back and forth on a lot of that stuff, and you know, obviously we did the right thing, and we were just surprised by how quickly we got funded. We didn't think that would happen. We thought that we would come down to the finish line and maybe we'd eke over it, and you know, within a week we didn't even really have to worry anymore. You know, it was just
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all fun. Like, hey, let's get to the next goals, and you get some more cool rewards for free.
Yeah. It's basically it. I looked at there like the rewards, and I told people, "Hey, go!" I put it out there to everyone, and I shared my comics and that to people from work and friends of mine from high school, from back in the day. And I said, "Hey, read this book." And some of them liked it, and I don't know whether or not they actually donated or not. But I showed them the reward list. A lot of them saying like, "This much cash for all that?" I'm like, "It's astounding, isn't it?" And like, "Isn't the story good?" And people just love it, no matter who I gave it to. Believe ya, I let my grandma actually read the book. A 70-something-year-old grandma, and she loved it.
Cool. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate.
We're going to put that on one
word
of the
of mouth.
covers. Dakota's
Yeah, oh
grandma.
yeah.
My grandmother loved it, Dakota Morgan.
Yeah. Exactly. Who knows what people's grandmas these days? I'm going to become more lenient in that, but hey.
Hey, we have an awesome grandma in the book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's a catcher. Let me tell you, I was astounded by her, and just you want to know like more about her, and like all these characters you want to know more about. You want to see where these guys go. It captures the imagination, especially with dinosaurs too. You really got everyone's childhood. You got it with sci-fi. You got it with dinosaurs. Everyone's imagination from when they were kids, or like me, to present day. Like that just immediately draws an audience in, which is putting in dinosaurs and then saying time travel. Or we're not going to spoil too much on here, you know, for people who haven't read all of them, just in case. But you guys did an awesome job. Dinosaur-wise, I want to put it out there though too, kind of leading in. What dinosaur would you guys like to put in, like childhood dinosaur? What one would you like to put in, or what one would you like to see come in later issues?
Well, for our book, I knew that I wanted to set it in the Cretaceous because I had to have T-Rex in there.
Yeah.
Because I had that scene, I think it's issue 3? I think it's 3, where, I guess it's a slight spoiler, but T-Rex just gets taken out within like 2 panels.
Oh, yeah.
And every other movie or book I've ever read, like T-Rex is the main menace. You know, he's always a big problem. In Jurassic Park, he's like the main adversary every movie.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
just like the idea of like, come on, he's not that tough. You just need the right equipment. So I always had the idea that, you know, Jim would take out T-Rex like right away. I always wanted it in there because it was just different. So I wanted the dinosaurs to be from the Cretaceous period. And so in the book, like every single dinosaur is from the Cretaceous. So that kind of limits like what we put in the book. And then I took it a step further, and I wanted all the dinosaurs to be from the Cretaceous, but also to have been roaming Utah or the Southwest area during the Cretaceous period. So, you know, that was, I wanted to try to make it, you know, more scientifically accurate. Jason and I both did, you know, and that's why we have, you know, brightly colored dinosaurs and feathers in there.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah. You know, as far as, you know, picking one from childhood, you know, it really, I think it started with the T-Rex. Which period did he live in? And then, you know, all the other dinosaurs kind of work their way in through that.
It sort of limits you just putting in Cretaceous, but I mean, with the amount of creatures and dinosaurs there were, you have like a large ranking to choose from. And with the T-Rex too, though, that I want that panel on like a poster and put it on my wall. This T-Rex, I believe it was headshotted. Am I wrong?
Yeah, shot through the eye into the brain.
Yes, shot through the eye and the brain. That panel right there was like, here's your childhood dinosaurs. Like you were always running from. The guy's like, it's nothing. Another Saturday.
With an armor-piercing explosive round.
Oh yeah, definitely do the deed.
Jason and Andre did an amazing job on that page. There's a lot of like those like single pages or splash pages that I want Jason to make into a print just so I can have them.
Yeah. Just put it up and like have your own little museum. Like, what is this from? Well, it's from a neat little thing here. If you're a fan of dinosaurs, you may get a little bit sad, but it's fine. It's fine. They're served up well. What do you guys? Another question for you both. What do you guys have planned after Voracious? Like, we got the Kickstarter one coming out right now. We got the second storyline coming out. But is there anything you guys want to do after Voracious, or even work on other projects with comics while working on Voracious?
Well, Jason's working on a project right now. He can tell you about it.
Oh.
Well, as far as Voracious goes, real quick, we're doing the second miniseries. It's a 5-issue. Starts in December, so we'll run starting in December monthly 5 issues, and then the hopes are that we get to complete the story. The story is 3 arcs, so they'll if the fans are still there after this arc, we'll try to wrap up the story in the third. So there'll be a third arc sometime later this year or next year. In terms of other stuff right now, I'm doing some work for Marvel.
Really?
Yeah, there's a Marvel does their Infinity comics, which are comics that are made for the for tablets or for the screen, so they're more horizontal.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of arranged in a way where you click and panels kind of populate the page, but panels don't have to lay out in the same way a print panel would lay out. You can have panels that overlap each other. If there's an action that keeps repeating itself, instead of drawing, 1 panel, 2 panel, 3 panel, you could just keep replacing that one panel. If one thing in the panel is changing, the panel just keeps changing, and it's just that one element in the panel will change. So it takes advantage of the computer screen or the tablet screen. So I've been working on a Doctor Strange Punisher story for them. I'm doing the layouts. And, another artist is finishing off my layouts. So we're kind of drawing it together. So that'll be, I believe, released in November digitally on the Infinity Comics format in the Marvel app. And then it's coming to print in December, which will be interesting. I'm curious to see how they convert it to print because it's very much laid out as a digital book.
Oh, I bet you those guys at Marvel can probably figure it out pretty fast. But it's Doctor Strange, so if they could easily make it a little bit trippy too. You kind of expect it from Doctor Strange, and including the Punisher too. It's not a team up I'd expect to see. With you on it, it's gonna be in good hands already. I can tell.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's called Doctor Strange Punisher Magic Bullets, and it's interesting because the first issue comes out the same day as Voracious Feeding Time #1 on December 7th. So
Wow.
We're already setting up signings for that day. So Jason's going to get to sign his Marvel work and the new Voracious issue. It's going to be pretty cool.
Jason, you get a double hitter.
Yeah, thanks. I actually have another book coming out tomorrow too. I've done some variant covers for some Valiant books recently, and I believe Faith #4, I believe, is the issue. Comes out tomorrow, and I did the variant cover on there too.
Oh, yeah. Valiant's been doing some cool stuff, man. You're just hooking up with everything right now, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I want to write the last series, and then I am working on some other books as well. So hopefully, we'll be able to get another artist since Jason can't draw everything I do, unfortunately, and hopefully we'll get some other new projects out there as well.
Yeah, and maybe once we're done with Voracious, who knows? I mean, we could dive right into another miniseries. We've got lots.
Yeah, if Jason doesn't become super famous, and start doing work for all the big publishers, we'd love to do something else with him. Like, I always would like to work with Jason throughout our careers. however long they may be.
Yeah. Like, Jason, just don't become famous and then forget the roots now. You got to make sure you get Marcus in here and like bring, like, hey, I know this guy, and he could just bring him on. He's really awesome. The Marvel or someone, just bring him on.
I got a buddy.
Yeah. He's top secret, but trust me here, it's okay. You ever heard of Voracious, Marvel? All right.
Really, I mean, the best part of even just working on Voracious is like Jason and I become like good friends. We talk all the time, and we just like working together. So
Yeah.
If we can continue doing that throughout our careers, it'd be great. And I hope he starts working at Marvel and DC and does all these great superhero comics, as Jason loves that superhero stuff. And I just want him to be as successful as possible. I'm sure he feels the same way about me.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they do.
You two will probably pushing each other around. Oh. Wow. Like, you know what though, guys? I think I can probably say for fans too, with you guys being good friends, and it's clear you guys are good friends too, you can actually see it in your work, because nothing's better than the other, or it's kind of like equal, and it's great. Both, if I can say it right, both equally great. Because you get some books, like the artist may hate the writer or whatnot there, and you can tell, like, they mess some things around, then you hear about it online. But you guys, it plays in your work. You guys get the best scenario you could get. You get to work on a book that you really like, and you guys get to be best friends, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because, we work on everything together, from the early concepts to, every single issue. Jason and I talk all of that through, so we're really ingrained in the process together, which I think is a little bit different than other writers and artists. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there that do that, but we're co-creators in the book, so we make sure we give each other feedback, positive or negative. We're always checking each other's work out and making sure that we can do the best possible series and issues that we can do. So.
Yeah. I mean, just coming up through, like, you're doing independent comics, so you get to know fellow independent creators, and you just hear horror stories from friends of mine, especially a lot of artists, or even writers, like, they hate each other, or they're just, they both got kind of conflicting ideas, and this, you just tell from the start, like, this book's never going to fly if you're both at odds. Trying to do something different with this book. So I can't imagine it, especially, I mean, it's when you're doing work for hire, that's a different subject, but if you're co-creating, I mean, I can't imagine not co-creating a book. You know what I mean? Like, as an artist, you're looking at these pages for 10 hours a day, and to not be, invested in it in a way, saying, you have some little bit of ownership over it, I can't imagine that. It's too much work to not be intimately involved in it, I guess.
Well, it's tough though too, because there's some writers and artists who don't commit to the book. So if you go into like a co-creatorship and they don't like hold up their end, there could be a lot of issues too. I mean, that could be part of the stress of it. But Jason and I were really dedicated to putting out comics. Always sticking to our deadlines and making sure that we get it done. It's not easy. You see a lot of comic books out there and a lot of creators who are successful, but there's just so many more that are trying to get books off the ground and never do, because they don't have that.
And those are sometimes like the best storylines, like the people who can't get them up off the ground. I've read a couple of them that people tried and tried and tried, and they just couldn't get it up off the ground. And it's better than like a DC or a Marvel book that you'd see. Well, I love DC Marvel with a passion, but some of the like indie books are kind of taking over from the big two in some book ways, depending on which way it is here. And you guys made it to the top two, but you worked hard, and well, that kind of leads me into something else actually. For people who are listening to this, what advice would you guys give for people who want to get into the comic book industry, that maybe not fall below and be part of the people who tried to rise up and could not, but try to rise up and be something? Like, people are going to be looking towards you guys. I'm betting if they're not already, be like, these guys did it. They created an awesome book. They got the awesome art. They did a fantastic job. and they're going to be looking for you guys for inspiration. So for those guys out there, what would you like to tell them?
Jason, you want to start with that one?
It's funny because like I don't feel like we know anything more than other people do on this subject. I don't know, and just terms of advice, I mean, don't give up. I mean, we had hurdles getting it published. You know, it was actually our first project that we really came together and committed to. I mean, I'd done like a few little small short stories, but this is like the first thing we created fully fleshed out. So it's actually kind of shocking that our first thing we came up with got published. But I don't know. I mean, my advice would be just like keep plugging away, and just improving. You know, I can speak, I guess, specifically to art. You know, if you're an artist, just draw every single day. It's weird. Like I've been drawing my whole life, but I got serious about drawing probably in the last like 4 years. And, I would just keep drawing. I bring my portfolio to conventions and I try to get it seen. And then we started creating this book together, but it was kind of a slow process, you know, because you create something and then you try to find a publisher to get it published, and that takes some time. And in the meantime, I would just keep showing my work. And then I don't want to say it all happens at once, but like you start getting notice just at a certain point. Like it feels like it comes out of nowhere, but in reality, you had just been improving over the years, you know, like getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see it necessarily because, you know, you're looking at your art every day. But when you take a step back and you look at something you were drawing a year ago, there's a noticeable difference. So the only thing I could say is just keep going at it, and just, you know, one day it's almost like the light switch turns on. Like you're an amateur one day, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, you're producing professional quality work, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, wake up, I'm famous. It's like a weird episode of Freaky Friday. And like, wait, guys, I'm looking back now. Where am I? I'm famous. Woohoo!
What Jason's trying to say is that I made him an awesome artist because I kept giving him scripts so he could improve over and over. And then I would tell him, hey, change this, change that. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's like, it's all practice. It's the same thing with writing. You know, the first advice I would give to people is like, if you want to create a comic, you have to go out and do the comic, create that whole comic. It doesn't matter if it's not great. You need to finish it, complete something, complete your work. If you have an idea for a comic, do that first issue, you know, because it might not be your best work. When Jason and I did the first incarnation of Voracious, it was called Cretaceous, and we printed 100 ash cans of it. And it's like, Jason's artwork looks completely different in this book, and I am so wordy. It's just like words everywhere in the book. And, you know, we learned from that. Like when we ended up putting out Voracious #1, it's a variation of that book, but it's a lot shorter. There's a lot less dialogue in it. You know, Jason improved the artwork. He went back and fixed some of the artwork. You know, and as we go along, I think we just learned how to make a better comic as we went. And but you have to do it. You have to be committed to it. You have to try to stick to your deadlines. And not give up, like Jason said. You have to be able to put it out there. But completing that first issue, I think, is like the big step.
Yeah, I have to. I just want to echo that there's so many people we talk to at conventions or just friends of ours. People that say like, "Oh, I got this idea for a book. There's people I know that have been telling me they have an idea for a book for years and years and years, and you just want to say like, just do it. Just, like, there's nothing standing in your way. Especially with self-publishing, putting stuff on the web. Even if you do it just for yourself, just do it. Because you know what? I think some people think, too, they have this idea and it's so precious and this is their one idea and they'll never, I guess, have another idea after that. And that's not the case. You know, doing this work just breeds more work. You get more ideas. You get better. You improve. And it's all little hurdles. You know, I remember the first time I completed a page of comic art. It was something that I was amazed that I did. And then all of a sudden I completed a full issue, a full like 22 pages. And then we put out a trade. We had a trade's worth of stuff. So it's these little hurdles where, you know, you might not think might be able to do it, and then you just do it. And then it just becomes something you did, and it's now something you can do. It's like in your toolbox to be able to handle.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me too. I mean, and actually, I still feel this way. Like, oh man, I got to write this next script. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish it, And I've written 10 scripts now, because this is my first comic I ever wrote. I never wrote comic scripts. I mean, here or there, I did like little ideas, but I never wrote full comic scripts.
Well, of course.
So, you just get better. You learn like what works and you understand your story and your characters better as you go. And it just becomes easier and easier. And also, working with an artist, if you're a writer, or if you're an artist working with a writer, the more you work with them, the more easier it becomes too, because you know what they like to draw, like what they're good at, how they can stage, particular scenes. So really, you gotta finish that first book, and you can't even pitch a book unless you have something complete to give to a publisher, anyways. So don't be afraid to just do it. Even if that first book doesn't come out exactly the way you envisioned, don't stop doing it because you want it to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, especially when you first start out. You've got to make those mistakes. You've got to just do it in order to become better at your craft. And then after that, of course, there's a whole host of other things, like promoting the book and learning how to do pitches and all that. But the very first thing, find somebody who really is into comic books that you can collaborate with. Even if you have to pay somebody to do it, if you're a writer and you need to pay an artist to do that, get that first thing done. That's the best advice we can give you.
Yeah. Hey guys, I gotta move away from my computer for about 5 minutes. You guys can either keep going or put a pin in it.
Sure. I mean, you can ask more questions, Dakota. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll ask some more questions and then keep it going and that.
Yeah, maybe ask more questions for about 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine, man. You're fine.
Okay.
He's got some new flooring that he's got people in there that are working on it, so.
Okay.
What do you got for me? I'll do it solo.
Solo? I don't know, Han. I don't know if you can handle it or not. Question for you. Let's see. For being a guy that's lived in Illinois, and you guys are in Southern Illinois, correct?
Well, I'm right near Chicago. I'm actually north.
Oh, north. Okay, I didn't know what's part of Illinois. I was curious because there's a guy who was born and raised here for 16 years. I live now here in Phoenix for about 3. Shout out to Sycamore, Illinois, best town in the state. What is it like with fans and that out there? Because different states is different level of comic book fans. I've heard from different people on that. Like, you guys in person, like obviously online you can get a bunch of people like, we love your book, like myself, like we love you and everything else. You guys are doing great. But do you also get people in person, like at cons? Is there a big turnout for you guys? Or like if you go to a book signing somewhere, there's a big turnout and like people recognize it, they're like, oh, this is awesome, and that, like, is there much of in-person fans there, or is it mostly kind of like online fans that you're getting the most reply from?
Oh no, I mean, well, because this is our first book, we haven't done a ton of cons. We have done a bunch of signings, but because it's our first book, a lot of people are being exposed to it for the first time. So it's not like we have an established fan base. So we're always building a fan base wherever we go. But we are starting to notice that, people have picked up the book and then they'll come back to get it signed and they'll, talk about how much they loved it. We actually haven't had any negative feedback, but fans here are great. I mean, starting with the retailers, because we have a lot of comic book shops in the Chicagoland area, and most of them have been really gracious with their time, allowing us to do signings. They always want us to come back and do more. And there's quite a few comic book stores that have just championed our book because they love it so much. There's a little store way up north past me called Lazarus Pit, and it's a small store, but we're like the number 2 book purchased at their store, behind like X-Men or something. Because the owner,
I was like, you could be number 1.
Because the owner, Josh, I mean, he loves the book, and he keeps pushing it on all of his patrons, and that kind of a loyalty to the book is amazing. There's a whole bunch of other great stores out here that also do that. Graham Crackers Comics, Challengers Comics. We always love signing there because the guys, they really love the book. And then we'll see fans like, I remember I got one negative comment. It wasn't even really negative. It was at Challengers Comics. And the guy picked up the first issue and we did a signing there. And he's like, I really liked the first half of issue 1, but I thought the second half of issue 1 was a little slow. That's what he told me. And because the first issue is a double-sized issue. And I was like,
Yeah.
we were building up the characters, but you know what? Come back, try the next issue, because I promise you, it's going to pick up and you're going to enjoy the pacing in the book from here on out. And so we did another signing there months and months later when the trade paperback came out. And that kid came back, and I remembered his face like immediately. I was like, hey, you're the kid who told me that the second half of the book was slow. And he's like, I just have to tell you, I read the rest of the issues, and they're just fantastic. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I've got to buy all the variant covers and the ending of issue 4. I can't wait to see what happens next. And I was like, see, I'm really happy you gave it another shot, So I like that kind of feedback. We went to Ohio. We've done a few cons here in the Chicagoland area, like C2E2, but we also did one in Ohio. And so a lot of people weren't exposed to the book, and we had people who bought it that first day, and then later that night they posted or sent us a message saying that we read the book and it's just amazing. We're going to come back the next day and pick up the other issues. So, wherever we go, it seems like fans seem to dig it. If they just give it a shot and then read it, it seems like, they really enjoy the book. And it's very gratifying for us because, it's hard to push an indie book like this. We've got a weird concept. We're at a small publisher. We're completely new creators. So, we have a lot stacked against us, to try to get the word out. Plus, there's tons of books out there right now, especially creator-owned books. So to try to get eyes on our book is difficult, but I feel like, we've done a pretty good job of it. First issue sold out at the distributor level, which we totally didn't expect, at a $4.99 price tag because it was 64 pages. And Action Lab had never done anything like that before. And we were really nervous about that. But, that's sold out, that first issue. So, we've gotten a lot of good fan response online and in person for the book. And, we hope we can do more cons and we can do more signings. Like I said, we've got some planned for Voracious Feeding Time #1 coming up, and Jason's Marvel Doctor Strange and Punisher #1. So we're going to be doing signings in December for that, and then next year we have plans. We'll probably go to Comic-Con in San Diego, and I'm sure we'll do a bunch of cons here. So hopefully we'll gain new fans, and we'll get even a better response to the book next year.
Well, I think you guys will get it.
Hey, Jason.
Hey,
I literally talked for that entire 5 minutes you were gone.
We should have timed him and been like, hey, you owe us something if you didn't do this time. I'll say this. For Voracious, I have to wake up for the Wednesdays that it comes out. I know I make sure it was coming out that Wednesday. I would have to get up early in the morning and be at the comic book store I go to. Jesse James Comics is a big one here in Phoenix. And most of the other places, they sell out too, but every Wednesday I got to get there early in the morning because it's always gone, sold out. For 100% sold out in the morning, probably by 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 100% gone, so you got to fight people for your guys' book at some stores.
How come you don't have a subscription?
Yeah, do they offer subscriptions at your store?
Yeah, they do. That's where most of them go, but then there's people like me where I like to go pick it up. I'm weird and classic. I'm I go pick it up sometimes, but it's still being fought over, even with subscription-wise and that too. It's in high demand at stores around. Drove to a couple stores and asked them about it. To tell you guys, most stores here in Phoenix, they sell out of it real fast.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great news and it's bad news because part of me wants to say oh man, order more copies.
Yeah, it's just get your crap together, guys. Is what you want. You want to email all of them? Come on now, guys. What's going on here?
Yeah.
You guys, for what that means though, is you guys got to come out here for a Phoenix Comic-Con sometime, or come out here for a signing at a comic book store or something like that. If you talk, I'll talk to the right people, and maybe we can get you guys out here sometime if you have any free time.
Well, I mean, I was just in Tucson last week. I tried to see if I could get one of the stores to do a signing. I had a limited window, but I didn't hear back from them. So I know Tucson's not near Phoenix, but it's probably the closest I've gotten.
Yeah, it'd be worth the drive. Like, we haven't got directly into Phoenix, but we got Tucson. Tucson's a little bit of ways, but it's not too far of a drive. You could easily take the time, gas money, and be worth it. And even though Phoenix is a part I know of where everything sells out of, I bet you guys, the high demand would be like all the way from Illinois. Co-creators of Voracious are here for you, and it'd be like King Kong. Everyone would come out to see it because it's a one-in-a-lifetime event that you guys would be here.
I don't know about that, but we appreciate the big dreams, Dakota.
He's got to be our hype man. He's got to come with us to signings and stuff. Get everybody worked up.
We dress him up as a dinosaur and just have him go.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do that. I have connections, guys. Don't say we could get you dinosaurs and that, and dinosaur models and that. I work at a research lab in Mesa on fossils. I bet you we could get a dinosaur model out there for a signing.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So guys, one last question for you. Is there anything for your dream wise that you guys, for both of you, what would your dream like character or dream kind of, other than Voracious of course, but anything already out there like Marvel, DC, or anywhere else, what would the dream storyline be to work on, or dream character to work with that you always wanted to since a kid?
Wow.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're making me go first.
Ooh, switch of events.
Well, there's a lot of characters. I mean, I don't think about it too often because, I mean, I'll answer your question, but like Voracious is my dream project. Like if I just did this book, I'd be happy, because it's everything I ever wanted in a comic. It comes from, my head and Jason's head. Like I can't believe we're getting to do what we're doing right now. But as far as like Marvel and DC characters, I mean, I have a Thor story. I love Thor. I make my own mead. I love Norse mythology, so I actually have a Thor story ready to go. I would also really like to do Nightwing. Jason and I both love Nightwing, and I think we would do a really good job on that character. I would like to do it with Jason. That would be a good dream. And I think I would probably do a good Spider-Man, actually. I've been thinking about this lately, like Spider-Man stories. I think it's because Jason loves Spider-Man. He's trying to collect every single Amazing Spider-Man issue ever. And,
whoa, that's a hefty deal.
I think I would do pretty good with the humor and the action aspects of Spider-Man. So that's something I've been thinking of lately. Yeah, I mean, those would probably be my top characters. Some of the other characters, like I love Daredevil is my favorite character. But so much has been done with Daredevil, I'm not sure what I would do with that character. I'd have to really think about it. Whereas some of these other characters, I have some stories immediately. Like the Thor story I have, like nobody's never done that story before. So, I try not to think about it too much. I toyed with this in the past where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to write a year of Thor. I'll just write it out. And then if it ever happens, I just have it ready to go. But of course, it never works out that way because you have so many other things to work on, like Voracious or just, your day job or whatever. But I always thought about that, like, why don't I just write these stories? Like, I'll just write them. Then they'll be done. And then, and especially with Thor, because you don't have to write the Marvel Thor. You could actually write a Thor as an independent book because that character is from Norse mythology. You don't have to use the Marvel Thor. Like Walt Simon's Ragnarok, which is one of my favorite books. So there's a lot of characters that I'd love to try my hand at, but I try not to think about it too much. I mostly think about, hey, what's the next creator-owned book I'm going to do? And I've got probably like 20 more ideas for other stories, and I'm starting to work on 2 or 3 of them right now. So that's what I'm focusing on now. If I ever got a chance to do some of the big characters, those would be my top. Probably Thor and Nightwing would probably be my top ones, and then Spider-Man closely behind. I don't think Dan Slott would ever let it go, though. He's got a death grip on that character.
Oh yeah, there's no way. But I mean, if only you knew someone who's now working with Marvel a little bit, if only.
Yeah, what about you, Jason?
I mean, you already said, yeah, I would love to do Spider-Man. I've always loved Spider-Man. And you said too, Nightwing. I feel like Nightwing and Spider-Man are pretty close. Nightwing's sort of the dark version of, it's like the DC Spider-Man in a way. The acrobatic, funny character.
Yeah, 100% agreeable on that one.
There's stuff I love to draw, but I don't think I'd be well suited. Like I'm a total child of the '90s Batman the animated series, so I just love Batman characters. I love Batman villains. Like whenever I find myself just doodling, I doodle a lot of Batman villains. But I don't know if I'm appropriate for that. I don't know if I'd be a good fit on that. I'd love to draw it, but I don't think I'm shadowy enough.
I would disagree with that, Jason, because we did do a short horror story, and
We did,
you
yeah.
changed your style up for that, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Never Alone. We did an 8-page horror story for an anthology, and Jason drew in a slightly different style that was more shadowy with a horror tinge. We had the colors are different on it too. It looks great. So I don't know. I think you could do it.
Yeah, well,
I'll let you tell them that.
you can make the spiel is what he's saying. Like,
Sure.
I'll let you do the work. I'll take the benefit. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, all the stuff like that are dream projects like that are probably the stuff you loved when you first were introduced to comics. So I was a kid of like the early '90s Image X-Men era. So all those books still hold a special place in my heart. Like I'm a total X-Men guy.
You want to draw Brigade, don't you?
Yeah, I want to drop.
Ooh.
Maybe not.
Ooh.
But yeah, I would totally draw an X-Men book.
You'd be good at that.
I don't know. I find I gravitate more towards the characters that maybe would be a little more expressive. Not like the dark and brooding characters, but like the X-Men characters. Just like the teen X-Men characters. Something
Yeah.
like an all-new X-Men. I feel like would be a good fit. Things like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Power Pack.
Total power pack. Yeah.
Ooh. Nice pull there.
Yeah. You know what else I would love to draw, which is totally just a random thing? Marvel's been putting out these Disney comics based on the Disney park rides, and I love Disney park rides, and I would love to draw one of those books.
Ooh. Yeah, I think Haunted Mansion was out last time I saw. I don't know what else. I think Tomorrowland has a book maybe coming out. Don't correct me if I'm wrong.
They just started the Tiki Room book last week. Yeah, they did a Figment one, they did a Haunted Mansion one, Big Thunder Mountain. I'd love to draw one of those. I feel like I have a better shot at drawing one of those than.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really like to write Conan. I think that I would be the toughest writer ever to write Conan because I listen to metal and I make my own mead. I feel like you need somebody tougher to write that book. So,
We don't need scrawny guys. We need the manly man to write Conan, all right? The
I
manly
love
man,
that
no
Conan.
Conan.
Yeah, and if you need a scrawny guy to draw your book, then that's where I'd come in.
I mean,
yeah.
there's always the one partner who's like, it makes the other guy look good. You ever notice that the big guys always like the big, huge buff guys? They always have the scrawny man, like they're like the wingman, and it always makes the other guy look bigger. So yeah, it perfect fit.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, guys. I'd like to say thank you for taking the time today and talk to a super fan of your guys' book. And is there any shout outs you guys would like to do today?
I mean, I would just really like to thank Action Lab, first of all. I mean, for just taking a chance on our book. I mean, we really appreciate that. They've been, really good to us, and we're pretty happy with our home at Action Lab. And then I'd just like to thank of the readers and retailers who've also taken a chance on the book because, without you guys, we wouldn't be doing a second series. And we really want to finish the storyline. Like Jason said, there's 3 arcs. So Voracious Feeding Time's the next one. And then the third and final arc is going to be probably called Voracious Appetite for Destruction. And so we hope we get to do that. And it's all because of the fans, who just showed a lot of love, reviewers and the websites who've also found our book and just talked it up. And people like you, Dakota, who love the book, tell retailers about it, and just want to keep talking about it and interview us. We just really appreciate it. We didn't know how our book would be received, and we're blown away by the reception. So appreciate that.
Boy.
I would add, yeah, thank you again. Thank you for having us. Thank you for talking about the book. I feel like fans that are enthusiastic about it are the best kind of advertising, you know?
Yeah.
I would just say that feeding time starts in December. You can actually pre-order it right now. I don't know when people are going to be listening to this, but I believe final orders for Voracious Feeding Time #1 are next Wednesday, which is, what date is that? The 18th, I believe?
Yep.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Yeah, so that's you can pre-order Feeding Time #1. It's going to be 5 issues monthly starting in December, so you can pre-order there. If you didn't read the first arc, you can catch up. If you go to my website, jasonmuhr.com, you can order issues or order the trade from there too. Or it's available on Comixology. There's a million ways to get the book.
Yeah, it's on Amazon too.
Yeah, it's on Amazon as well. So if it sounds cool to you, check it out. There's one trade out there already, and if you dig it, there's a second one coming. So we have plans for the book. We're not just winging it. We have very specific plans.
Oh yeah, the plot's all laid out.
Yeah. And we feel like number 4 of the first series ends in the world of Voracious gets a little bigger, and when you see the end of issue 5 of the second miniseries, you're going to realize the world gets even bigger from there too. So the story itself kind of gets a little more epic with every miniseries. It keeps expanding and getting a little bit crazier.
And you can also check us out Twitter, or it's at Voracious Comic, and then we also have a Facebook page. It's Voracious Comic on Facebook. So if you want to learn more, get links. You can get an order form that you can print out and take to your local store for the new series too.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. P.S. So, is there a way that maybe a super fan could get his name in the book or a little quote saying how good the book is in any issues coming up?
Damn it! You didn't contribute high enough to the Kickstarter, Dakota. What the heck?
I know. Bills suck. What can I say?
I don't know about that. I mean, we are going to put review quotes on the front. So if you wanted to do a review of it and you said something spectacular, maybe from your videos, I guess we could take something from your videos there and put it on there. We'll have to see.
If you can come up with an epic enough quote about the book, it could find its way on the cover for sure.
The one of saying I gave it to my grandma and she loved it isn't good enough, guys? Come on.
I kind of do want to use that, actually.
Yeah. Full permission to use that. Go.
Cool, man. Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you very, very much for this. You can expect to see it on the YouTube pages that I do, Comixology, and then Dino Times, and also my private YouTube page, and I'm going to share it everywhere, people, so they know, even family will be like, what's Voracious? And they shall know. They shall become in love.
Cool, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
No problem. Alrighty, guys. You guys have a good one, okay?
You too.
You too.
Thank you.